What's going on YouTube? It's Eli with Common Sense, and I hope you are having a fantastic day. I know I am, and I hope you guys are doing awesome. Today, we are going to be covering 4 fragrances. I'm going to be talking about the entire Lattafa Opulent collection. Funny enough, I actually just wanted to pick up the Lattafa Blue Oud, and that one was out of stock where I was going to purchase it, and I ended up being able to get it in the entire collection set. I think the whole thing was $80, 4 fragrances for $80, but I just decided, you know what? I wanted to try several of them. I was thinking, why not get them all? So without further ado, let's jump into today's video. So first up on this list is Lattafa's Opulent Oud. Opulent Oud is sort of one of their best sellers out of this collection, and frankly, I was really excited to try this one because I heard it's a great oud kind of rose with a little bit of saffron in there, and I'm just excited to try this one out. As you can see, this outside of the box is really nice. It's kind of felt-like and textured, and you have this really cool kind of metallic crest here in the middle. It's gold, and I like the presentation here. You have it in cursive. It makes it look and feel kind of expensive. And in the back, you have the iconic holographic sticker showing the Lattafa logo. So let's just open this up. As you can see, the bottle looks absolutely eye-catching. It's got a really nice kind of glazed look to it, and it's nice and shiny, and it has that really nice kind of emblem up here in the middle. And the cap is not the heaviest. I expected this to be kind of heavy, a little bit metallic. I think it's kind of plastic, but honestly, it looks nice, and it's not really until you pick it up that you notice that it's plastic. So on the shelf, it definitely looks really nice. I'm excited about this. Let's smell it. Actually gonna try this on skin. I actually tried all 4 of these on my skin. I have it on my, oh no, my little light died. Oh well, wouldn't be the first time mid-recording. So I actually tried all 4 of these on my skin. I have this one up on my forearm. I also have some a little higher up for all of them. And so I will be able to have an accurate representation of how it smells off your skin. And these have been sitting on here for a while. This one is awesome. Yeah, straight up top, this one, it has a nice sprayer, and I really just get kind of patchouli, saffron, and caramel just straight up top. It's just kind of nice, warm, and oudy. Up top, we have notes of citrus, florals, and saffron, and in the middle, we have amber, oud, and caramel. And in the base, we have resin, musk, woods, patchouli, and vanilla. So here, they're not using real oud oil and that kind of oud extract. They're using a bunch of different notes and aroma chemicals to emulate the smell of real agar wood, and I think it's really pleasant here. The florals in the oud just smell really woody and nice. Funny enough, this kind of rose oud with a little bit of caramel reminds me a little bit of Banana Republic's Oud Mosaic. I think the two are very similar in terms of that kind of dry, kind of earthy, rosy oud combination. But in terms of presentation, I think I have to give it to Lattafa. I mean, it just looks really nice. Yeah, and that caramel and vanilla combination also reminds me a little bit of Swiss Arabian's Shagaf Oud because it's got the vanilla and caramel here that just smells absolutely wonderful. Some people say that this one's inspired by Armani Privé's Oud Royal and even Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomade. I think the resins here add a nice kind of edge and a spice. It just smells really nice. Just nice floral oud. It definitely gets more rich. You get sort of a higher quality smell, even for having that kind of fake oud accord. It's not super synthetic and it smells natural. In the dry down, you get a lot more of the earthy florals, and it's got that kind of nice resinous wood. You still have the oud and the patchouli, but honestly, it kind of mellows out a little bit and becomes a little bit warmer and slightly more gourmand. Wasn't the biggest fan of this one when I sprayed it on a tester strip, but on skin, it really did kind of change my mind on this. I wore it for a couple days, and the first time I sprayed it, I was like, I don't know if I want to smell this for the rest of the day. But honestly, it's kind of a nice, delightful surprise for this one. I'd say this one's definitely better for a mature audience. Maybe somebody in their 30s. I think anybody can wear this. I believe it's very unisex. It's kind of got that jammy, sweet rose and that oud that's just wonderfully dark. This one, it lasts over 8 hours, even around 12 hours on my skin, and I noticed it well into the evening when I sprayed it in the morning. Some might argue that it's not quite unique enough to own because there's a lot of those fragrances that do that oud, rose, saffron, kind of caramel, trifecta, you get what I mean. But honestly, for $20, I think it's a great pickup. It's definitely a pleasing scent that I think a lot of oud fans are going to enjoy. And that one is Lattafa's Opulent Oud. Next up, we have Lattafa's Opulent Musk. Again, this has the exact same presentation as the black one, but instead you get a really nice regal white bottle. This just looks absolutely amazing and it smells great too. This one is definitely inspired by Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge 540, but a lot of people have said that this is actually more of a clone of Mancera's Instant Crush. I have to agree with that because you don't get quite as a sweet vibe as Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge. It's more of a kind of tamer version and it smells a lot more like Instant Crush. This one up top, you get musk, saffron, and citruses, and in the middle you have jasmine, white florals, and white musk. In the base, you have sandalwood, cedar, spruce, amber, and white musk. Now, there's a bit of redundancy in the notes that they listed, but all that means is that the musks really stick around and they are present in this one. Very present. Yeah, just think of Baccarat Rouge, but slightly different. There's definitely more of an ambroxan and amber vibe here. It's definitely a little bit lighter, and I know it's not listed, but I almost get a little bit of an oud note. I think that most Lattafas have at least some sort of oud, at least that's sometimes what I feel. Yeah, that sweet kind of citrus and musk up top gives it a really, really pleasing, sweet, and almost whipped cream vibe. Not quite as strong as something like another clone like Ariana Grande's Cloud, not as synthetic and gross as that one. I'm sorry. The cedar and the fir here aren't super overpowering. It's not overwhelmingly woody. What really shines here is that kind of amber and musk. It's just a very sweet and kind of light and airy vibe here. Really nice. And I know it's not listed, but as it dries down, you almost get a little bit of leather coming up. It's not listed, but you get a little bit of a leatheriness to it, which is really cool. This one's definitely similar to Instant Crush, but it's not quite as in your face, and the citrus resins and that kind of amber really shine here, along with that musk. It's just very white and uplifting. Honestly, this one lasts a really, really long time. It lasts about 12 hours, sometimes longer. I've sprayed this, you know, well into the evening, and then the next day I still smell it on my arm and on my clothes. So definitely you can use a few sprays of this one, but it's going to project and last a really long time. And I think it's one of my favorites from this house, and anyone can wear this at any age. If you like Baccarat Rouge 540 or Instant Crush, I think you'll really appreciate this one, the longevity, and the fact that it's just faithful to that vibe, you know, of that kind of sweet, kind of musky, aromatic vibe with an insane longevity and projection. And that one is Lattafa's Opulent Musk. And the one that inspired this entire purchase, Lattafa's Blue Oud. This one has slowly become one of my favorite Lattafas. This one, it's a fresh, kind of fruity, aquatic take on oud. It's a little bit weird to consider a refreshing take on oud, but I think they do it really cool here. You know, usually oud is sort of dense and kind of darker for that kind of cold weather, but this one, it's nice because you can wear this in cooler weather and it's a little bit relaxing and fresh. Some people say that this one is inspired by John Varvatos' oud and it's similar to Lattafa's Najdia. I haven't smelled either of those, so I'm not entirely sure, but I'd love to smell them. So all of the sites online except Fragrantica cite this as having Cambodian oud up top, saffron, vanilla, and Gaiac wood in the middle, and in the base you have Indian oud. So I'm not quite sure what this one's inspired by, and it's a little confusing because on Fragrantica, they list a lot more notes on here that were unlisted, and I think it's a lot more accurate when it comes to displaying out the notes. So on Fragrantica, it fills in those blanks and it says that it has apple, bergamot, fruits, sage, ambergris, sandalwood, and jasmine. Honestly, this one has a nice fresh and aquatic fruit up top, but you also have a little bit of delicate kind of white florals mixed in with some of that nice oud accord. There's definitely some ambroxan here. It's present and it keeps it kind of nice and airy at the same time, but it's very sweet at first, but once it dries down, it is really, really nice. Yeah, you definitely get an apple kind of citrusy aquatic vibe up top, but it's weird because you also get that kind of nice woody oud at the same time with a little bit of that kind of jasmine that keeps it light. It's like a light blue, if that makes sense. Honestly, sometimes it comes off as slightly synthetic, but I think that this one is unique enough. It's fresh, it's oudy, and I think it warrants picking up and at least trying. What I like about this one is it has a little bit of that kind of Invictus-y aquatic sweetness, and I can totally see this as a safe choice for spring or fall if you wanted to kind of ease into the ouds while it's still on that kind of cusp of warm and cool outside. This one, I'd say it lasts around 8 to 12 hours on my skin, and of course you can make it last a little bit longer if you spray it on your clothing. Yeah, there's just something really fresh and kind of new to this. It's like a new take on oud, which is really interesting because I love oud fragrances and I started off collecting freshies, and I think this is a wonderful introduction to oud if you're used to the freshies and blue fragrances out there and you want to kind of dip your toes into that sort of Middle Eastern oud. It's affordable, it's definitely a good choice, it's really unique. I think Lattafa Blue Oud is definitely worth picking up for 20 bucks. And that one is Lattafa's Opulent Blue. Lattafa's Blue Oud. Finally, we're gonna be taking a look at Lattafa's Opulent Red. This one I was also kind of curious to hear about because I hadn't really heard anything about these. I'd really only heard about the black and the white one, but this one, it looks and smells really cool. This one is definitely oriental and kind of intense, and it's woody, spicy, with just a nice red citrus vibe. So this one has listed notes of amber, oud, caramel, patchouli, and vanilla. So like Lattafa's Blue Oud, Fragrantica shows more of an accurate note breakdown of some that weren't actually listed on a lot of the sites online. It shows that it has pear, tuberose, blood orange, pink pepper, jasmine, and white florals, heliotrope, cognac, as well as some other kind of warm, cozy notes. So a lot of people have drawn comparisons to Muglier's Alien as well as Armani Privé Rouge Malachite. I've smelled one of those before, and I think it does follow a little bit of that alien vibe, but it does it in a really cool, unique way. This one, it's creamy and floral from the Tonka, at least what was listed on Fragrantica. You also get a really interesting red kind of candied berry vibe here in addition to that blood orange that they listed. I think as this one develops, you definitely get more of that blood orange and that citrus. It's really pleasing. It's just got a nice kind of red soapiness to it throughout its whole life, coming from those kind of white florals and that cardamom. But also as it develops, you get a little bit of smokiness from the oud and the cardamom, the blood orange and jasmine that are really prominent here. I was a little bit on the fence on this one at first, and it seems like it's a little bit divisive among a lot of people. Some people say that it's a little bit cheap smelling. It is kind of synthetic, but I think if you are a confident woman or anyone who just wants to wear a nice citrusy, soapy fragrance, I think this is kind of the vibe that you might want to go for, especially with that kind of unique red berry take to it. While this isn't something that I would maybe wear all the time, I definitely can appreciate the approach to making a fragrance that's inspired by Rouge Malachite and Alien, but giving it a really nice, unique, kind of creamy red twist to it. I'd imagine you wouldn't want to wear this one in the summer or warm weather because it's ridiculously strong even here in the winter. I sprayed this on to test it a few days ago. This one overpowered kind of all of the other Opulent fragrances, and I smelled this one the most. So take that information as you will, but I think this one definitely packs a punch, and I think it's definitely worth a shot for $20. And that one is Lattafa's Opulent Red. And that does it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching this and for tuning in. I really appreciate your guys' feedback and your comments, so definitely let me know if there are any other fragrances you want me to check out. I have a list kind of going on my phone of ones that I want to check out to review as well, so keep those coming. I hope you all enjoyed this video. My name is Eli with Common Sense, and until the next time, bye-bye. Yeah. Can you tell I just had coffee?